At one point, Bobby Shmurda was running the streets and the hip-hop scene like a true problem for the game. He came through with an entirely new drill sound that nobody had really heard before, and it shifted everything fast. Because of that, a lot of MCs had to step back and adjust their position in the game. Even major names like Young Jeezy felt that pressure. We all remember when Thug Motivation 101 had the streets on lock, but even then, the momentum started shifting when Bobby Shmurda dropped heat. He basically took over the airwaves in a way that forced everybody to react. Now, Bobby Shmurda is out here calling out Jay-Z and his lawyer, saying they played a role in getting him locked up. And listen to this, he's also coming at Jay-Z for never referencing 50 Cent in his music over the years. The question everybody keeps asking is why Jay-Z has never mentioned 50 Cent in any of his tracks or freestyles. We already know there's been tension and behind-the-scenes politics, including claims about Jay-Z trying to block 50 Cent at the Super Bowl, even though that didn't go through. So why has Jay-Z stayed silent about 50 Cent in his recent music and performances? Things are getting really intense out here in these streets and in this conversation around hip-hop history. Because Bobby Shmurda at one point was that guy, no question about it. When GS9 came out of Brooklyn, they had the streets completely on lock. I'm not even gonna lie, it got to a point where even Jay-Z was being mentioned in all of this tension. Recently, Young Jeezy revealed that he and Jay-Z had plans for a song and even shot a video together, but they had to pull everything back because Bobby Shmurda was heating up the streets at the time. Hot Nigga had the whole city and airwaves in a chokehold. So pay attention because Bobby Shmurda has been going off lately, especially at Jay-Z. He feels like he didn't get the recognition he deserved after being tied to Roc Nation. And now he's also calling out Alex Spiro, Jay-Z's lawyer, while linking Jay-Z himself to his prison situation. Pay attention, y'all, because this situation is getting deeper by the day.
Ty, Emery, all sat in his office and wrote a treatment for the video. We was gonna fly in to Miami on jets, do it. The first verses on the runway. Then we was gonna go do a party at Live and invite everybody for a pool party and do a show that night. This was happening. This was happening. And then Bobby Shmurda came. Because he called me, he's like, all I'm here, was it Hot Nigga? He's like, I don't know, man. What? He's like, I don't know, man.
The hat flew in the air and the plans
like, damn. He's like, let's let Bobby do his thing. I was like, shit. Damn. But it was gonna happen though.
Bobby Shmurda really sick up the streets when he was at his peak in hip-hop. And when he got released from prison, he ended up signing with Roc Nation, and that's exactly where the tension with Jay-Z started heating up. Now, Bobby Shmurda has been going off publicly, calling Jay-Z out, and clearly showing he's not holding anything back. Yeah, you can tell he's really in his feelings about the whole situation. He dropped a long written statement, and I have to be honest, it was a lot to take in, so I'm just trying to break it down as clearly as possible. In it, he goes to Jay-Z and his attorney, Alex Spiro, claiming they played a role in sending him to prison and pushing him into a deal he never wanted. And he goes off, basically saying you can't dress up disrespect in fancy words and expect it to be okay, which shows how heated he really is. He says at the time he was a 19-year-old from the hood, while a billionaire was sitting on the other side of the table. And now that he's out of jail, he's pointing directly at the lawyer Alex Spiro, saying he was forced into everything. According to him, the judge didn't care and was ready to send him and his people upstate, with appeals as the only option left. He's basically alleging that Jay-Z's legal team set him up to lock into a deal that worked against him. He also claims that when he came home, he realized Roc Nation was the only path to escape his epic deal situation. He had been locked into that label situation for years while still under contract during his prison time. He even calls out people doing questionable things just to get record deals, saying he's not impressed and just wants what's his. Then he shifts again, saying Jay-Z and his camp are allegedly blocking him through industry pressure and bad publicity campaigns. He claims that's the reason people haven't been hearing or seeing him the way they used to. He points back to his 2014 viral run, saying things were real and organic back then compared to what he sees in the industry now. Now, in his view, everything feels manufactured and driven by money and control behind the scenes. He goes as far as saying the game has changed into something more controlled and less authentic. And in his words, the system is being exposed and people are just trying to survive inside it. He ends that part by saying a lot of industry figures are willing to do anything just to stay in front of a camera. You've been hearing my music off, so he's basically saying the reason you haven't been hearing his music or seeing his content is because he feels like Roc Nation and Jay-Z have been blocking him. Listen to this. I came out in 2014 when I went viral, actually fully viral. Now, we were fed this content all day when things were going up because it was lit, naturally funny, naturally energetic, naturally real. Now, everything feels fake, money-driven, and controlled behind the scenes. They flipped it back to TV and only gives us a small slice of freedom now. The jig is up. They've been running games for years. He's straight up calling Jay-Z and them scammers, saying they've been doing this for years. The rest of these folks, that's what he meant to say, are untalented and will do anything just to get on screen, point blank, period. Oh my God, that was like bending the arm just trying to decode the way these guys are writing these days. But as you can see, Bobby Shmurda is accusing Jay-Z and his lawyer of setting him up. So he's saying when he came home, he signed with Roc Nation because he believed they were the only ones who could fix his epic deal, and he took that shot and ended up getting burned in the end. Bobby Shmurda didn't stop there because he's also going at Jay-Z for not addressing 50 Cent. Like, listen, over the years, 50 Cent has done countless interviews where Jay-Z's name always comes up, and there's always been known tension between Jay-Z and 50 Cent. So why hasn't Jay-Z ever mentioned 50 Cent in his music or freestyles? I'm just asking the question. Let's take it back to when 50 Cent talked about the Super Bowl and called Jay-Z a hater. Yeah, this was one of his more recent interviews, and he explained how Jay-Z allegedly tried to block him from the Super Bowl. Pay attention.
But Jay still have issues after all these years.
I don't have issues. You know, my thing is, look, I think in that point, yeah, he was hating because he was saying the NFL had an issue with me when I got 11 professional sports teams now that I'm the official Champagne and Cognac of. And where's the hate there? Like, I don't understand it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so you said that there was an issue. It's an issue because he was doing the program. He didn't want me to be in the show. And wouldn't do it without me in the show. And then he made the adjustments.
When's the last time y'all spoke, if y'all have spoke?
Jay?
You and Jay.
Oh, it's been a while. Because our business is really, they don't cross paths. We're not after the same thing. Like when they're doing something else with, you know, Roc Nation and stuff like that. And we pick different things, right? Like prison reform and stuff like that. And that's their thing. You know what I mean? I looked at the professional sports thing when I go and say it would give me the organizations that are the most influential organizations, their charitable organizations, so I can tap into that without having to work to create those organizations.
So, as you can clearly see, 50 Cent has publicly addressed Jay-Z in the past and even labeled him a hater during radio appearances. The conversation spread everywhere, from the tri-state area to the South, especially on Hot 97, where everyone was tuned in. He's also taken shots at him on other platforms like 105.1, so this wasn't just one isolated moment, it was everywhere. So at the end of the day, the real question is why Jay-Z never fired back at 50 Cent in the same way? Because honestly, I think 50 Cent has reached a level of influence that's hard to ignore at this point. Yeah? And now he operates across multiple industries, not just music anymore. He doesn't even really need rap the way he used to. Meanwhile, Jay-Z almost gives off the vibe of wanting that spotlight again, which is why people noticed him stepping back into music with that new energy and look. It almost feels like the same pressure you see when someone like Drake dominates the charts. Jay-Z's still heavily involved in the music business though. Yeah, he still has artists signed and running under his umbrella, but 50 Cent is in a different lane now. He doesn't rely on the industry the same way anymore. I'm just being real. He's fully established as an executive, even if Jay-Z and others are in the same space. At this point, 50 Cent isn't really tied to the traditional music game anymore, right? He's moved into film, TV, and business, which has made him even more powerful. So when Jay-Z allegedly tried to block certain moves, it didn't really land because bigger industry forces still push things through. Now, when it comes to Bobby Shmurda, yeah, it honestly feels like his momentum got cut short in a major way. Yeah, because at one point, the entire culture was waiting for him heavily.
Let's just keep it honest. And I even showed earlier where Jeezy basically confirmed Bobby was that guy to the point things shifted around him. So now you have to ask yourself, does Bobby Shmurda have a point here? Is there some truth behind what he's saying? Because he's even suggesting that Jay-Z's lawyer may have played a role in how things unfolded for him. Look, I'm not confirming anything, I'm just breaking down what's being said. But Bobby was extremely hot at that time, no question. So you have to wonder what the real strategy behind all of that was. Like, take my lawyer, take Shapiro, and let him handle it. Then suddenly, the situation cools down for a bit, and after that, when he gets out, there's this expectation he'll come right back into the fold. He ends up signing anyway, and then people start saying his whole career got controlled or boxed in from that point. And that's why people call it a dirty game out here. I'm not claiming anything, I'm just reporting how it looks from the outside. At the end of the day, I'm not here to create the news, just break it down. But honestly, Bobby Shmurda's buzz after jail didn't hit the way people expected. It really felt like he just vanished. And that's why I'm asking, was there really a bigger plan behind the scenes? Was he intentionally pushed out of the spotlight? And then you've also got people asking why Jay-Z never directly addressed 50 Cent like that. Drop your thoughts in the comments because 50 Cent has always spoken his mind publicly. Yeah, he's never really held back when it comes to Jay-Z either. Every time he's asked, he says exactly how he feels. He even went as far as calling him a hater. So why hasn't Jay-Z responded in the same way? Is Bobby Shmurda overreacting, or is there something deeper going on? Some people even say he's just out here chasing attention at this point. But honestly, I think his career took a serious hit regardless of how you look at it. So was it mismanagement, or was there something intentional behind it? And now Bobby's basically saying if you connect the dots, everything starts to make sense. Salute.
You and Jay still have issues after all these years.
I don't have issues. You know, one thing is, look, I think in that point, yeah, he was hating because he